What up, guys? My name's Cody. This is another UFC 4 training camp. Today we're going to go over the basics. Had to use my boy T-Ferg against my other boy Justin. When this fight starts, I do want to show y'all a quick tip. Some of y'all might not know. I do get asked about it sometimes in my stream. You notice that I can only see his health when I cause some sort of damage. That's because the settings are set to dynamic. So I'm going to change that right now. Go to gameplay, fighter HUD. Switch this to on. Now I can see all of his health down to his leg health no matter what. This carries on throughout the entire fight. The HUD will disappear, at least your opponent's HUD, if you get to Division 5 and ranked. Pardon the intermission, we had to stop the fight and relocate it. The social distancing was not up to standard. Alright, well this isn't perfectly legal, but it's an improvement, we'll take it. Now that you know the opponent's HUD, pay attention to that bar in the top middle. That's going to be called your grapple advantage, and that's going to go up anytime you land strikes, block opponent strikes, or deny opponent's transitions. Now the transitions are going to come when you're in the clinch or on the ground, but even on the feet, the grapple advantage is important, because if you have grapple advantage, even if you don't want to initiate a takedown or initiate a clinch, you can use the grapple advantage to deny the clinch or deny the takedown. So it's still important. We'll get into the grapple advantage a little bit later when we get into the clinch and the ground, but for now, let's get into a bit of the basic button layout. The best way that I've found to remember the buttons is your left hand is going to be X or square if you're on PS4, and your right hand is going to be Y. Even if I switch stances, my left hand is still X. X either way. And Y is my right hand no matter what, no matter which stance I'm in. Same thing as for A and B. A is my left leg no matter what stance I'm in. So still I switch stance, it's still my left leg. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, but what about if I switch to southpaw?" Don't think about it like that. Think about the left side of your emote is the left side of your character's body. The right side is your right side of your character's body. Now we'll get into the combinations and how to throw strikes more efficiently later on in the videos, but I do want to show you for now, if you want to throw a straight punch, it's just going to be your punch button, X or Y. So if your front hand is going to be your jab, which is Y right now. If I switch stances, it's going to be X. And my back punch is going to be my cross or my straight. Now if I want to throw a hook, I just hold LB. And I hold LB, and then whichever punch I throw is a hook. Now, the only one that's semi-tricky is an uppercut. If I want to throw a left uppercut, I press both left buttons, X and A. If I want to throw a right uppercut, it's the same thing, just the right two buttons, so Y and B. Or it'd be triangle and circle if I was on PS4. And it doesn't matter which stance I'm in. It's the same. Left buttons are my left uppercut. My right buttons are my right uppercut. Now, since we were talking about hooks, let's talk about what the LB button can do. Anytime I throw a punch, but I hold LB during it, it turns it into a hook. Now, I can throw a kick, and that would be a leg kick, but if I hold LB, it turns it into a head kick. The only time it won't is if I'm too close. It'll just go to the body, so you gotta be careful with that. And also, you gotta be careful with holding LB, and Tony has this front kick, but maybe, I don't know if Justin does. I actually think he does, but some fighters don't have the front roundhouse, and also, other fighters will have not just roundhouse with this leg and the back leg, but they'll also have maybe a wheel kick, or it just depends. You have to go through each fighter's moveset and find out which different kicks you have. But anytime you hold LB, it's going to be a head kick. Now the next thing we're going to look at is your LT on Xbox or L2 on PS4 button. That's going to be your body modifier. Anytime you hold that for a punch, it's going to make it go to the body. And anytime you hold it for a kick, it's going to make it go to the body. Now this can get a little bit confusing for newer players, because when you don't hold LT and you throw a kick, it's going to go to the legs. So you just got to remember that if you press a kick and you're not holding any other extra buttons, it's going to go to the legs. Now once you hold LT, it brings it up to the body. And that stays the same for when I'm throwing other kicks to the body. The next button we're going to be talking about is RB or R1 on PS4. That's called a signature modifier in this game, which is just how it sounds. It basically means that if I'm holding RB and I throw a punch with Tony, he's going to have the overhand right. If I throw RB with X, it's going to give me the spinning back fist. And it basically just depends on your fighter and their signature punch. A lot of fighters will have the overhand, and a lot of fighters will have the spinning back fist. Those are two popular ones. But sometimes if you look through a fighter's moveset, you can find some pretty cool ones. You just have to kind of look around and see what you like. Alright, now you know how to throw strikes, but to block strikes to the head, you need to hold the right trigger or R2 on PS4, like that. And to block strikes to the body or legs, you hold both triggers, RT and LT, or for PS4, it'd be R2 and L2. So, body, head, body, head, body, head. Keep in mind at any point if you want to change your stance, even if your fighter isn't good in his other stance, maybe your lead leg gets taken out, or for whatever reason you want to change your stance, just click the right analog, and boom, good to go. Just keep in mind that each fighter, depending on how good they are in switch stance, you can check that on their stats before the fight. That's going to affect how the strikes come out in their opposite stance. So just keep that in mind if you want to switch stance a lot. One last thing that a lot of you might not know is some fighting games, they give you incentive to input the combination at the correct timing. Like maybe as the second strike comes out, you input the third. This game is not one of them. If you want your strikes to come out quick, you want to input them as quick as possible. You'll notice a difference. I've seen top players that really didn't know that if you inputted your combination as quick as possible, it would come out quicker. And once they started doing so, it was a big difference. So just keep that in mind. Once you learn your combinations that you really like with a certain fighter or just in general, start trying to just input them as quick as possible, and you'll notice that the combinations seem to come out just faster and harder. Alright guys, that's the end of this video. Hope you liked it. Hope you learned something. If not, at least you got to see this cute pup. Leave me a like, drop a subscribe, and new ones coming soon. See y'all soon. Peace.